All right, Schlockmeister fans, we're going to re-review a classic from the 80s, Basket Case. Let's check it out.
This is Dr. Lichtlander. I want someone to...
So this is a doctor, and he hears something scurrying on the roof. And this is the end of that doctor. And this is Dwayne Bradley walking the streets of New York City carrying a basket. Dwayne is checking into a cheap hotel.
How long? I'm not sure. A couple of hours? A couple of years? What?
What's in the basket? We don't see it yet, but he's feeding it.
Take your time, there's plenty.
Across the hall and
He meets Casey, a prostitute.
Now, I don't want you to think I go around buttoning people's business, but somebody's been snooping around your door. You know, peeking through the keyhole and shit. So if you got anything of value in there, like money or something, I wouldn't leave it laying around.
We're just pretending.
So he's going to a doctor's office,
and have an appointment for
where he meets a cute
11:30.
secretary.
You're next.
Thanks.
What's your name?
Dwayne Bradley.
So why is Dwayne going to a doctor, or this specific doctor? Well, take a look at that scar. At the movie theater, Dwayne falls asleep and someone steals his basket. And here's that
20 years
doctor.
old, using a phony name, and nothing's wrong with him except he's from Glens Falls and he has a deep scar running down his right side. Please.
Later on, the doctor sees this. We finally see what's in the basket. This is his Belial, the Siamese twin of Dwayne. They're going around and killing all the doctors that separated them.
I was listed. He's got her address. We're in luck.
Dwayne ends up going on a date with Sharon, the girl from the doctor's office. But he clearly has some sort of link with Belial,
Above me has gone crazy.
I know.
who raises one hell of a ruckus. Of course, when they go in the room, they find nothing.
All right, Sweeney, I couldn't have got that without you seeing them.
Look in the basket, you might find them. Again, they don't find Belial, but they find out what he did.
I'm not deserting you. I just wanted some time for myself. Look, I've helped you with everything so far, haven't I?
Dwayne gets drunk and tells part of his story to Casey.
It looks like a squashed octopus. Our mother died giving birth to us. He was attached to my right side. They wouldn't let us go to school or anything.
A flashback to Daddy.
Child is a twisted lump of flesh, then she tells me I need two names for it. One for the child and one for the monster.
Eventually, Dad hires some doctors
You two may be my last hope.
to separate
I
them.
don't know who you are or where Lichtlander found you, and I don't care. No questions asked. Just separate them.
So against the boys' wills, the operation goes.
Hold his arms.
Apparently, Daddy threw Belial in the garbage. Here's the revenge they take on him.
You and your brother have gone through hell.
Their aunt agrees to take care of
Everyone
them.
thinks Belial is dead now, and we'll let them. Safer that way. But I'm here now to take care of you. Both of you.
Well, Auntie's dead now, and of course they're in New York City, and this is Belial feeling up Casey's boob.
Only it's not a cat.
Casey escapes,
And I think I should explain
and they
how he
visit
got
the doctor
this
the next day.
before you see him. Another vet, Dr. Lichtlander, operated on him upstate unsuccessfully.
Dr. Lichtlander.
She's obviously one of the doctors that operated on them. Dwayne almost got laid. Next thing you know, Dwayne is running down the streets of New York City naked. Back to Sharon's place, feeling her up while she sleeps. Or is it Dwayne? When he kills Sharon, Dwayne retrieves him and he's pissed. Well, now Belial's mad. They briefly hang up there for a while.
Hey, are you okay up there?
And that's our movie. All right, let's talk about Basket Case. What can you say about Basket Case? It's a classic 1982 horror movie. This actually holds a place to me in terms of it was the very first movie I ever rented. My parents rented a VCR on a couple of movies, and about a year later we got our first VCR. But I had been collecting some Fangoria magazines, so I was aware of the movie. I was a little kid, but I was aware of the movie, and I'd read about it, and it looked fantastic. I always wanted to see it. Of course, stuff like this didn't play in my town, and not that my parents were going to take me to it anyway. But when we got to the video store, I was looking at their horror section, at the list, and I saw a Basket Case on that. I'm like, I got to get that. My parents had no idea what it was, and they didn't need to know. I also wanted to get something called Blood-Sucking Freaks, which I had no clue what it was, but the title was fantastic. My mom said, no, you're not getting Blood-Sucking Freaks. I ended up getting Videodrome that night. So Videodrome and Basket Case, while my parents rented The African Queen. So anyway, finally taped it a few years later once we got our VCR, rented and copied this thing, and they made 2 sequels of this, Basket Case 2 and 3, which I have also seen. Basket Case. So what we got here is a story of Dwayne Bradley and his deformed brother Belial, who is like this blob of a face and hands that was stuck to his side. They were Siamese twins. Apparently, birthing them killed their mother, and then when he was about 13 or 14 years old or so, the father, angry guy, decided he's got to get these two separated so Dwayne can even lead a normal life, and he thinks Belial is some sort of freak, which he is. So no doctors will do it, so he goes underground and finds some underground doctors to do it. There's about 4 or 5 or 6 of them that operate on the two of them, and they do separate them, and then they throw Belial in the garbage, but Belial doesn't die. Dwayne rescues him, and then the two of them have this saw contraption that cuts their father in half and kills him. And their aunt decides to raise them both. Everybody thinks Belial's dead. Nobody knows what happened to your father. They think somebody broke in or something. I'm going to take care of you. Well, she does take care of them, and eventually, 10 years later or so, she dies. And then from that point on, that's where the film kind of started. We see Dwayne walking with Belial in a basket, and through the streets of New York City, they are looking for all the doctors who separated them, and they're on a case for revenge. They want to kill all the doctors that separated them because they didn't want that, and that's what they do. They spend the rest of the film killing all the doctors. They find them all. They're basically all in New York City, I guess. Now, Dwayne looks normal. He's a normal guy, or seemingly, and he starts taking up with this girl, Sharon, who was a receptionist at one of the doctor's offices. Well, he and Belial obviously have some sort of Siamese twin psychic link, and Belial gets very jealous and gets into a fit of rage whenever something good happens to Dwayne. He tears up the hotel room or where they're staying, and eventually he kills the girl that Sharon, that Dwayne almost had sex with. Too bad. Broke into her apartment, started feeling up her tit, and then choked her to death. And now that psychic link works both ways. Obviously, then Dwayne came running and took Belial out of there. He was pissed off. You know, he's yelling at his brother. You know, if you ever do something like this again, I'll kill you. I finally get a girl and you destroy her. And then Belial gets mad, and then they start fighting. He jumps out of the basket, and the two of them fall out of a window of the hotel. They're hanging on the neon light for a while, neon sign for a while, and then they both drop. Actually, he actually choked and killed Dwayne first, and they both fell to their death. And that's it. That's our movie. So anyway, Basket Case, like I said, it's a classic 80s horror film. Apparently, according to IMDb or Wikipedia, it was a $35,000 budget that the director Frank Henenlotter did on this. He did a fantastic job too. There's a lot of gore in this movie, and it's well done, I think. It was realistic, if you ask me. They did some stop animation to show some of the Belial stuff. They used a puppet for some of the other scenes as well. But it's a fun-ass film. It's got some comedic overtones as well. It's just very well done. It's become a cult film, well-deserved. I hope Frank Henenlotter made a lot of money in this. He surely didn't spend a lot on the budget, and if he sold it for anything, any sort of decent price, he got a hell of a lot of money back. Hell of a return. So anyway, that is Basket Case. Now, I've had this DVD, I think, since 1998. It's put out by Image. It's out of print now. They've released multiple copies since then. A couple of Blu-rays. I think Arrow did a nice Blu-ray as well, which I probably should track that down because this is one you want to have. So I'm sure everybody's seen Basket Case. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about the sequels. Leave some comments. Let me know. Basket Case, watch it. Bye.